I don't know, Dingley Dell or something of that nature. It's springtime. Yes, it's springtime in England, and needless to say, I've got a runny nose and a cold. And just a couple of weeks ago it was snowing, but now it's full-blown spring. As you can see in this particular video, I'm going to show you all sorts of springtime stuff, well, bits and pieces, and you'll be no doubt stunned by the amazing display of springtime light and what's the fecundity, if that's the right word, the fecund nature of British springtime. Everything's green, it's all fresh, and well, when the sun's out it's actually quite warm. I've got a thick jacket on because there's a hint of chill in the air as usual, and but when the sun is on you it's warm, unlike back in Malaysia where whether the sun was on you or not it was swelteringly hot, like being in a warm shower all the time. But here, fresh air and a runny nose, that's what you get. I'm an indoor sort of person. Well, not quite. I'm a city sort of person. I like crowds and life and cafes and museums and art installations and theatres and pubs and, well, mass orgies, drink and food and life and making money and being out there with tons of stuff going on, you know. Whereas springtime, it's all about, well, communing with nature and lumps of old wood. There's some old wood there, pretty big and old, and suspiciously dead, but there you go. Looks like it's going to fall down. What is that? So where are we, Helen?
Yes. We're at Swan Wood.
Swan Wood, there you go.
Near Stock.
I was going to say near Swan Lake, but...
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. And of course, why are we here, Helen?
To take photos of bluebells.
And you brought your big camera, your really expensive camera, to take photos of all the bluebells. And what did you do, Helen?
Well, I left the SD card behind. So I can't use my camera.
Yeah.
But
There's
I've got
always
a
an
really
excuse.
Nice camera on my phone.
Yes, so you say.
This is only 15 minutes away. I can come back again.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether I couldn't let you, because you might forget where you put the car or something then. Oh, there's a lot of wood here for your wood-burning pizza stove. Right, what you're seeing is English bluebells. There's a lot of them about here. English bluebells. And why am I saying that they're English? Because, well, apparently Spanish bluebells have been infiltrating our ecosystem. Now then, will they take over? Oh, it's not just that. They're creating hybrids. So they're not just English bluebells, they're English-Spanish hybrid bluebells. But these, we think, are English. But quite frankly, I don't think I'll be able to tell the difference. But amongst aficionados of the bluebell, apparently it's a big deal. It's a bit like red squirrels, brown squirrels, and other such things as that. Now, if I was in Europe in woods like this, I'd be watching out for the bears. But I'm not. There's no bears here. Then I'd be watching out for the wild boar. But no wild boars. Of course, once upon a time there were wild boars floating around. But not anymore. Having said that, mind you, I've met quite a few wild boars in my life, and they don't look like you would imagine. There's no wild boars here, are there?
No wild boars. Well, I cannot confirm or deny that one, Lawrence. I don't know.
Mind you, we've met a few wild boars, haven't we? See, I'm being ironic. Is that the word? Is it ironic or metaphorical or something like that? Cynical. Right, let's have another look at prettiness writ large. So most of the forests in Britain nowadays, they were planted. A lot of them were put in place so you could grow your arrows and your bows and arrows.
Right.
The coppice woods were, so you could.
Trees weren't used for that, were they?
No, I don't think so. But most of these places were deliberately placed. There's not a lot in Britain that hasn't been actually gardened in a strange way.
What looks wild?
Yeah. So somebody comes along and sprinkles all the seeds for the bluebells, don't they? There's a bluebell man. Or lady.
It would be a bluebell fairy.
A bluebell fairy comes and sprinkles all the bluebell seeds.
It's beautiful.
And the brambles, so that you can pick berries. They are berry
Yes, they are.
things, aren't they? What are they? Blackberries? See, you can come here and pick blackberries. When do the blackberries come? Usually it's November, yes. So that's what's happened here. Somebody's sprinkled all these bluebell seeds, and they've also put the blackberries in there so that you can harvest that in November. What else would they put in here to encourage things? Of course, they've got the holly so that you could have your holly trees, decorations. They've usually, they do actually put things in these places for decorative reasons. So the ecosystem has got an awful lot to do with Christmas celebrations and apple and blackberry pie. And of course, you have to have a few deer in here that you can shoot now and again.
This is not deer forest, right? It's just
No, it's not a deer park, is it?
Should we go down there?
Okay, what birds are they? Helen's the nature expert.
That's a dog bird.
That's very useful. An awful lot of British birds you can hear, but you never actually see. And in fact, the noisiest ones are the tiniest ones usually.
When we were with Roddy, there was a bird that was going kind of thing.
Oh, yes, yes.
And I think that was a robin.
Ah, right.
And if it went for a long time, it was a wren.
Right, there you go. If you look closely, you'll see that I haven't got my coat on. It's still cold though. Except when you stand in the sun. But we're in the woods, and the temperature has dropped considerably in the woods.
It's still quite pleasant though, isn't it?
Well, yes, it's fresh.
I heard it. I saw it float.
Swan. It makes you feel like you're moving, doesn't it?
Yes. You are. It's swaying. I can see lots of birds here. Now, I could quite easily start waxing lyrical about fancying sort of a bender with Keith Moon and Keith Richards and Johnny Depp as being somehow preferable to walking amongst the woods. But I'm here for, I guess, medicinal purposes. That's probably it. I've convinced myself that it's fresh air, and that one should be out here and not going wild with as many wild women as possible and ending up in a pool of one's own vomit, which, has its attractions because one thinks how wild one is and how completely and utterly without consequence because of one's wealth and I don't know, what is it? Sense of invulnerability. But of course that's just not what we've got. We're terribly, utterly vulnerable. Now then, a lot of people keep going on to me about spiritual things. I guess it's because there's a big pile of Jehovah's Witnesses just up round the corner from here, and it's the land of witchcraft and what have you. Nobody went on about spirituality when I was deep in the midst of an Islamic society, because, well, you didn't quite want to talk about such things because you always got into violent trouble then. But here, people start these conversations in bars, and I think, I've no idea what they're talking about, you know. So I'm not quite sure what this spiritual thing is all about. Buddhism all seems so depressing, sitting around, removing all desires, being attached to nothing. I mean, if I was a Buddhist and attached to nothing, and
If you were a Buddhist attached to nothing,
that's right, and you know, and living in commune with infinite infinity and other such things, would I be talking to you?
no.
Well, there you go. That says it. That's so Helen would miss out on my conversations. See, you'd have no conversations if you were a truly spiritual person. So that's.
You're talking to that voice in your head before they put you in the psychiatric ward.
Well, there you go. It's one step towards a psychiatric ward. Whereas an ice cream out in the sunshine. Because I have a strong desire for an ice cream, which is not approved of at all, is it? Too much like pleasure.
Yeah, but aren't you supposed to make yourself happy?
Yeah, by having an ice cream.
It would be disapproved of.
Well, it would be, wouldn't it?
If I want to gain enlightenment, it's the pure pleasure of eating ice cream.
That's right, yes, that's it.
Enlightened can you get?
Yes, there you have it. See, so even Helen agrees with me, and she never agrees with me about anything else. A walk into the infinite. Well, a little bit of a history I found. It's these woods have been here from at least the 1600s. And how do we know they've been here from that time? Because there's lots of bluebells.
Bluebells, wood anemones, and wood sorrel. Not that I've spotted either of the last of those two.
Right, blueberries, bluebells, and wood sorrel.
Wood sorrel,
And what was the other one?
anemones.
Anemones. There you go. That's how you tell.
And that's because these plants take a long time to colonise.
Yep. Mind you, there's a whole bunch of trees that were planted in here in the 1950s, which are all being torn down now to be made into IKEA furniture. And they're replacing them with indigenous trees of Essex. Hazelnuts. Plenty of them. And with any luck, they'll then make Cadbury's whole hazelnuts again, with real hazelnuts in it, not just that powder of nonsense that they stick in there nowadays. Full-blown Cadbury's fruit and nut, that's what we want.
There was a time.
That's right. But they've said that it's going to take decades for these trees, these new hazelnut trees, to establish themselves. Can we wait?
This is number 24. Are we going to the right?
We're going to the right, yes. See, it's another one of those things that made Britain great, and they've just lost their way.
Cadbury's fruit and nut.
Cadbury's fruit and nut. So get the Essex hazelnut trees growing again, and we'll be able to hold our head up high once more.